Welcome everybody to Week 6 Playoff Edition for the CSFFL pregame show. I'm your host JD. Holy smokes, what a great regular season it's been. Great regular season it's been. Whole bunch of records have been set. Obviously it's season 1, so there's going to be quite a few records set, obviously. But first of all, I want to say let's take a look at our league MVPs for season 1. Seymour and Hillard are the top two candidates right now for. Here, let me get the camera back into focus. Our top candidates right now for league MVP. Anquan Seymour, quarterback for the Scorpions, threw 2,000 yards and 23 touchdowns in a 5-game regular season. And also William Hillard rushed for 1,000 yards and 17 touchdowns on the ground. So we're trying to determine who do you think should be season 1 MVP. A bunch of people leaning towards Hillard, but to be honest with you, Seymour seems to be running away with it at the moment. Okay, so what we'll do is we had a Thursday night game. We'll take a look at the Thursday night game first. This was the matchups for the Dragons and the Scorpions. Hope you had a chance to watch it. If not, you probably want to watch it. It's a good one. Scorpions versus the Dragons. It was a 1-4 Dragons coming into a 2-3 Scorpions, both coming off of a loss. But when you look at the Scorpions, look at their number 1 overall offense with their number 1 overall pass offense as well. And then you look at the Dragons, and they struggle on offense, but look at them on defense. Second overall for total defense, for yards led up. Also, they are second for pass defense and third for rush defense. And then you look at the Scorpions, who are last in absolutely every category for defense. So they let up quite a few points, but they can throw it up too and score quite a few points as well. So that was quite the matchup. I'm going to show the scores. If you haven't seen the games, then you probably want to go see them. But let's take a look at the matchup on Thursday that we had. It was Dragons versus the Scorpions, and the Dragons came away with a win, 51 big ones over the Scorpions. Even though the Dragons struggled on offense, they were able to score 51 points, and they were able to shut out the Scorpions in the first quarter, which really helped them going further in the game. Scorpions picked it up in the second quarter, scoring 13, 14, and 14. But wasn't enough for the high-powered Dragons, and for CJ Barber had over 200 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns, I believe. Barry Perkins did really well as well for the Dragons. And the Scorpions struggled a little bit in the beginning, but then got it going, and still Anquan Seymour, quarterback for the Scorpions, still finished with 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. So that was an incredible game to watch. Scorpions do lose the ball game, but they did score quite a few points for a losing team. All right, so now let's go take a look at the games for this weekend. Our first matchup of the weekend coming up Sunday today is the Sharks and Vipers. I would say the most highly anticipated match of the weekend comes in the first game of CSFFL Week 6 Playoff Edition. So it is Week 6, and we got one more week of playoffs. And right now, the teams have made the playoffs for the fantasy league that we're running, and the fantasy guys are all playing each other now. First versus fourth, second versus third, and they're playing each other for a shot to go to the championship game next weekend. After that next weekend, we'll have a bye week. We'll go over the whole regular season. We'll choose our league MVP, and talk about the next draft coming up, because next season comes up August 15th. We're adding 4 more teams and 4 more franchises. If you know anybody that's interested, or if you yourself are interested. Okay, let's move on to the first game. First thing stands out to you right away is, well, the second rush defense for the Sharks. Look at that. They have the second best rushing defense in the league, but they're pretty average everywhere else. I see a couple 5s and a 4, a 6, but look at those 7s on offense. So they do struggle to run the ball on offense, but even though they do struggle to run the ball on offense, look how well Josh Woods, the running back for the Sharks, has been. So he's been doing really well the last couple games. So can we see another big performance from Josh Woods here, or are we going to see Taylor Glover, the quarterback for the Sharks, just sling it today? So let's find out. It's going to be a big matchup. I'm excited to see this one. And then looking at the Vipers, who have Phil Clemens, one of the best, if not the best, running back in the league. They are 3rd on rushing offense. So the 3rd best rushing offense meets the 2nd best rushing defense. So let's see which one bends and which one breaks. Also, the Vipers aren't too bad on defense. Look at that. 4th overall on defense and 3rd for pass defense. Also 3rd for turnovers, where when you look at the Sharks for turnover differential, they are -3 and 2nd last in the league. So look to see some turnovers from the Sharks that could lead to some big plays and short fields for the Vipers. But if they are shut down by the running, if their running game is shut down, should I say, by the Sharks, and they're forced to throw it, look for Derek Albright to struggle throwing the ball, because he is 7th in the league for yards per game. Though Derek Albright has been extremely efficient. Derek Albright, for viewers that don't know, is the quarterback for the Vipers. He has been playing extremely efficient, and I don't want to jinx it, but he has gone the whole regular season with no interceptions and no turnovers. So is he going to have a big turnover day against the Sharks, or is he going to go again and go another game without throwing an interception or having a turnover? Which is quite the streak Derek Albright is running right now. So that is the first matchup. Let's get into the second matchup, which is the Bears versus the Tigers. Very, 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 very good team in the Bears. They are 4-1. They are an absolute monster on offense and average. First thing you notice right away, obviously you see that #1 rush offense from the Bears, but know what else stands out to me is that #1 points per game in the league. So they average 55 points a game. 55 is their average. Unbelievable when you think about that. They are just a scoring machine. They're 2nd on total offense, but have the #1 rushing offense with over 1,000 yards in 5 games. Their passing offense is actually 8th, but that's kind of deceiving because Bill Morris is extremely efficient, does really well with Blaine Strickland and Doug Burrow and Ryan the Villain Dillon. Always needs a lawyer, Wilkerson, all those great guys that are in there. Let's see if we can see Joe Claiborne get a little bit more involved in the tight end position for the Bears. But I see this being a really, really run-heavy game, and William Hillard having another really, really big game on the ground. Also, the Bears, before we move on to the Tigers, look at their turnover differential. They are #1 with +7 turnovers because Bill Morris is also, just like Derek Albright, has been extremely efficient and has had 0 turnovers in 5 games, which is incredible to think about the streak that these guys are doing right now and the standard that they are setting in Season 1. Okay, then you look at the Tigers, who are 2-3, a deceiving team. They play well against really good teams and lose to really bad teams, it seems like. They are 8th for points per game, so they are last, averaging 39 points. And the Bears are averaging 55. 39-55. Oh my goodness, is this going to be a blowout? 8th overall offense for the Tigers and 8th rush offense for the Tigers. There's only 8 teams in the league, so they are last for offense, though they are 3rd for the passing offense, so they can throw it. So if they fall behind, which I think they're going to have to throw it, and if they do, they can rely on their quarterback, the Tigers. Evan Watkins can throw the ball clearly with him and Jamal Olsen and Brent Thanksgivens and Chester Hare Manley, all those great receivers that they have. Can they get them involved here to take down the Bears and slow down the Bears' rushing offense, right? But then look at the total defense from the Tigers. They are number 1. Number 1. That is a real thing there, so let's not overlook the number 1 defense. Can they shut down the Bears like they shut down the Scorpions? The Tigers shut down the Scorpions to 10 points. The lowest scoring team ever was 10 points, and the team that did it to them, made them struggle, was the Tigers. So the Tigers know how to shut good teams down. They know how to double coverage their main guy. They know how to shut down a running game, though they are 6th overall for rushing defense, so people are able to run the ball on them, but they are 1st for pass defense, so no one is able to throw it on them, but they don't give up a lot of yards, should I say, not that they can't throw it on them, because Bill Morris is going to sling it and do it very efficiently, but they're not going to get a lot of yards because they are 8th for passing offense versus the number 1 passing defense, right? And then we're seeing, a really good running game, the number 1 rushing offense in the Bears going against the 6th rushing defense in the Tigers. So I'm expecting to see a real good running game come from the Bears today, because they're not going to be able to throw it, and they're going to be able to run it, and they're going to go up early, so they're going to be able to pound it out. So that's the way I'm seeing this game play out, but you never know. Obviously, anything could happen. Okay, so now let's move on to the 3rd and final matchup of the weekend, which is here. Boom, Lions versus the Wolverines. This just has shootout written all over it. Because the Wolverines, though they are 5th for points per game, they know how to score, and they can throw it up, and they do really well, even though they're very average. We'll take a look at the Wolverines first. They are very average. Look at them, right across the board, 5s, 4s, 3s, 4s. Not too low. The lowest thing I see is their turnover differential, which is really bad. -8. So they are the worst team in the league for turnovers, and they're facing the Lions, who are the 2nd best in turnovers at +4. So expect to see some turnovers today by Tiny Thomas, going against this high-powered team in the Lions, who are really favored to win it all. The Lions are having an absolutely remarkable season this year, which may not happen again. I think this may be a fluke this year, how well the Lions have been playing. And now we'll take a look at the Lions. They are 2nd overall for points per game. Look at that, 54-point average, just behind the Bears and the Bears alone. And then look at their offense. Lions can get it done on offense. They are 2nd on rushing offense, 2nd for passing offense. But honestly, they could be number 1. The only people that beat them, in those 2 categories are the Vipers for rushing offense and the Scorpions for passing offense. But honestly, you could argue that they have the number 1 passing offense in the league, because they're not playing from behind where the Scorpions are playing from behind a lot. So they're throwing the ball, trying to catch up, trying to get back in the game, where the Lions, they're second in pass offense, and they stop throwing it in the second half. In quite a few of these games that we've had in the regular season, they go up 20-0 or 20 to something, or they go up a few possessions and then they run the ball out for the second half. That's why Darren Front Page is really good right now and has been playing really well because he's been getting second half reps really well, and they've been running the clock out and finishing the game very well. The Lions are one of the most efficient coached teams as well. They're coached very well. They do the right things in the right scenarios, and their philosophy of football is just great all around. Lions definitely showing the rest of the league how it's done and setting the standard real high for efficiency. Their offense is third best and second for rushing offense, second for passing offense, and like I said, could be the number one, arguably, because these are just yards, right? They're not necessarily ratings or efficiency or clutchness or whatever you want to rate teams by. Total defense is sixth, which is really deceiving. They actually let up a lot of points. They're seventh for the pass, but first for the rush. So that could lie to you. Those stats may lie to you a little bit because when it says first for the rush, that's because no one runs it on them because they're down. They go up. The Lions go up a touchdown or 2 or 3 touchdowns in the first half, if not the first quarter. So the teams that are playing them are trailing, and so they have to throw the ball to get back into the game. So they're not running the ball out on these teams and having success because they abandon the run, and that's what the Lions do. They score fast, quick, and efficiently and force you to change your game plan and to play their game of a shootout, right? Well, guess what? That's what the Wolverines love to do. The Wolverines love to have a shootout. The Wolverines are a shootout team. So these teams haven't met each other all year, but they've been playing the same style of football. So I'm excited to see these two. I'm expecting a ton of points, like a ton, out of this this game. Even if they average what they average, 54 and 44, what's that? 98? 98 combined points in this ball game is the average. So think about that for a second. 98 points is the average in this ball game, so we might get more. You know what I mean? So it's going to be quite the shootout this game. I'm excited to watch this game. Out of all the matchups, I got a good idea what's going to happen in the other two, just kind of because of the way the teams have been playing. But this game here is probably the most unpredictable game because it could go any way. It could go any way. The Wolverines could struggle to keep up with the Lions, and the Lions just light it up like they always do. Or the Wolverines can keep punch for punch with the Lions and get them like the Scorpions got them at the last second there in that ball game. Poor Rick Martin returned it, and then John Waters won the game twice over the Lions. So let's see how that ball game plays out. It's pretty exciting. I'm really excited about the Lions and the Wolverines game. That's for sure. Then when we're looking at the stats, I wanted to show you guys before we let you guys go on. This is from week 5. Teams per week 5. Bill Morris and William Hillard getting 48 points last week. That really stood out. Ryan Dillon got 27 points last week. Brendan Platt, 35 points. 21 points by RJ Barber, who also had another really good Thursday night game. Barry Perkins had 29 points. Russell Lewis, out of nowhere, 4th string receiver, gets a touchdown, 5 catches and 18 points. That was absolutely unpredictable. Mark McCoy, steady Eddie, 37 points. And then Darren Page wins the MVP for week 5 with 56 fantasy points, which you can't blame him for that. 2 catches, and he brought both of them to the house. Rick Martin struggled. Melvin Hudson is pretty consistent, 2 touchdowns again. And leads the league in touchdowns. with 11 touchdowns on the season. Anquan Seymour here, 40 points. Tiki Carter did really well as well. Darren Litton had 190 yards and 9 catches, 2 touchdowns. It was definitely the Darren Litton day. And then Josh Buchanan still got his, even though Darren Litton went off. John Waters still got that 1 touchdown. Then we look at the Sharks last week, 39 points from Taylor Glover. Can we see another big performance from him this week? Josh Woods had 2 touchdowns and 100 yards. Rushing, Sleepy Garrett had a humongous day. Can we see him maybe have another big week coming up this week? All these stats are from last week, guys. Last week. Okay, so, and then Evan Watkins here, 33 points. Andre Bond just struggling all year. Jamal Olsen, no good. 5 points there. Let's see. Hope to see him get going. And then Brett Givens has just been extremely consistent. So is Chester Manley. But hopefully we can get Jamal Olsen going a little bit more. He needs a little bit of love. Derek Albright, 39 points, 4 touchdowns, no turnovers. Derek Albright is just on fire when they get him to throw the ball. And Phil Clemens, another 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Casual 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. No biggie from Phil Clemens, because he does that on the regular. Shane Lott, 5 catches, 106 yards and a touchdown. Really big game from Shane Lott. It's above his average, that's for sure. Edgar Plummer, unbelievable game, record-setting game, almost a record-setting game. Few yards off the most receiving yards ever. So he was really close there. And finishes with 49 fantasy points. And then Tiny Thomas, boom, struggled last week. Only 26 fantasy points, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns though. Jesse Bonds bringing it to the house 3 times. CJ Diggs caught 2, but 1 got in the end zone. Keon Turner, what's going on with him? He had quite a few catches in the first 4 weeks, and then first 3 weeks, I believe it was, and then struggled week 4 and now week 5. Hopefully he can bring it week 6, and then that's pretty much it for the Stat-Arinos. We'll close that there. Close these, and that's pretty much it. The last thing we're going to do, we're at the 22 mark. Last thing I was going to go over here is we looked at the 3-game matchups and how they could and may or may not play out. Now the next thing is who will have the most fantasy points for the week? Well, who will have the most fantasy points for the week? Well, when you look at these games, I truly think that the Lions and the Wolverines is going to be the biggest scoring game. I really do think that these teams are going to score the most. So I think the most fantasy points is going to come out of here, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's Darren Page. Once again, I think Darren Page is going to go back-to-back weeks with the most fantasy points because they are going to crush the Wolverines here and then find themselves up 2, 3, maybe 4 possessions, maybe even 3 or 4 possessions up, and then they're going to run the ball. I'm expecting Darren Page to get over 20 carries in this game and run the ball out, break a couple long ones, and finish the week with, 40-something fantasy points, somewhere around there, and then that might be the most for the week. Other big question for the week is who will be the surprise star of the week? Who will come out of the mud and rise and show us something that we haven't seen before? When we look at the matchups, I'm gonna say the Sharks. I'm gonna say the Sharks and Tigers, or Sharks and Vipers game. Last week I know I said something about the 3rd or 4th string Shark receiver doing something, and he did actually. He did actually come out of nowhere and do something. But now instead of saying that for the Sharks, I'm going to say that for the Vipers. I'm going to say the 3rd string for the Vipers. Which is who is the 3rd string for the Vipers? They got Shane Lott. They got Edgar Plummer and Tito Snow. So Tito Snow, and then they got Adam Baum-Warwick at 4th string. I'm going to say Tito Snow is going to have a Chester Manley, John Waters day. Tito Snow is going to have a 3-touchdown, 150-yard ball game and out of nowhere. And people will be like, what the heck, Tito Snow? Why this week? I think that he is going to find himself open in the middle of the field. They're going to double because the Sharks are really good on defense, right? So they're going to shut down Shane Lott. They're going to shut down Edgar Plummer, or at least attempt to shut down Edgar Plummer, which may not be possible, but they're going to attempt to shut him down. They are going to shut down Shane Lott. In my opinion, like, obviously anything could happen. And what's going to happen is the middle is going to be freed up by either John Anderson, the tight end for the Vipers, is going to have a big day, or Tito Snow, the third string slot receiver for the Vipers, should have a huge day because they are going to be locked on islands. And if Derek Albright is watching this, you know what the Sharks are going to do. So that's what that's my guess on who is going to have the surprise star of the week is going to be Tito Snow. And then MVP predictions for the game for the weekend. Man, MVP predictions, I don't know. It's going to be hard not to pick Phil Clemens. It's going to be hard not to pick Phil Clemens, but I'm going to go with William Hillard. Even though it kind of conflicts what I said about Darren Page having the most fantasy points. I'm going to go with William Hillard. William Hillard will finish the week MVP of week 6, week 6 playoffs weekend. I think William Hillard, the running back for the Bears, is going to have the MVP. I'm going to say with 4, maybe more touchdowns. 5 touchdowns? We going to go on a limb and say 5 touchdowns? Okay, so 5 touchdowns is what I'm going to say 5 touchdowns for William Hillard this weekend. And then bowl prediction for Sunday. And when I say bowl, we got 27. We're 27 minutes in, so 3 more minutes, and then we're gonna cut it. Bold prediction, not just a prediction. I need a bold prediction. If you got one for this weekend, put it in the comments below, or comment in the game that you think who will have a huge bonkers game. And I'm gonna say a never ever because I like never evers, right? I'm gonna say that a never ever will happen this weekend, and I'm gonna say William Hillard. This is crazy bold though. This probably won't happen, but I want bold, right? I'm gonna say William Hillard breaks the rushing record this weekend, which is set by William Hillard a few weeks ago at 302 yards on the ground. I think he's going to break that today, and not only break it, but he's going to crush that record by 100 yards. That's my crazy bold prediction. I'm going to say William Hillard ends the week with 400 rushing yards over the Tigers and just crush them is my big bold prediction. So if you have any, let me know as well. And I hope you enjoyed the Week 6 Playoff Edition pregame show, as I've really been enjoying this and been getting a lot of positive feedback for it. So enjoy the games this Sunday. There's some really big ball games coming up that I'm really excited about. Obviously, the Lions and Wolverines, Bears and the Tigers, and Vipers and Sharks. So please enjoy those ball games. And if you have any questions or anything at all, comment below. And also, if you're watching and aren't a part of this league and want to join, you can join our Discord to get some more information. Also, you can email us at cssfl.info@gmail.com, and you can sign up for the league for next season, which starts August 15th. Thanks so much. Enjoy your Sunday, and I'll talk to you guys soon.